Now we're going to get into chapter 5, which talks about elasticity. Now, what elasticity is basically showing us that because of a change in price, we're going to see a change in quantity, but how much of a change in quantity? Like, have you ever wondered when you would stop buying something? Like, if it got too expensive, all of a sudden you go from, yeah, I need it, to, no, it's too expensive. Like, if the price of an Amazon Prime membership increased, would you still buy it? Some people would think, like, okay, if it increased by 10%, I'm still going to get it. Other people, they would say, if it increased 10%, I can't do it anymore. So people have their different sensitivities to things, and that is elasticity. So it is an economic concept that measures the responsiveness of one variable to a change in another. Basically, when the price changes, how much does the quantity change? Okay, we can think about this for a lot of things. Like if you were to look at a whole year worth of buying clothes, right? If clothing increased prices by 5%, how big of a quantity are we going to see, right? And that is going to provide valuable information from a business side and a consumer side. Okay, so price elasticity, what we're looking at is the ratio of the percent change in quantity divided by the percent change in price. That's the technical formula for it. We're looking at the percent change in the quantity demanded divided by the percent change in price. Okay, it is the same idea with elasticity, where we're looking at the price elasticity of supply. And I'll get into what that's about later. But elasticity is the percent change. This is different from the slope calculation. With slope, right, you're dealing with new minus old divided by new minus old, right? So the changes in the y's divided by the change in x's, if you're familiar with slope. But this is going to be different. This is the percent change. Now, in all actuality, what percent change is, we're going to use percent, and we're going to use the triangle symbol, delta, which shows us change, like going from one point to another. What's that distance there? So the percent change formula is new minus old divided by old. Now, as a quick example, if your price of your coffee was $5 and then your price changed to $6, this is your old price, and then this is your new price. And so in terms of the percent change formula, if you wanted the percent change in price, you would take the new 6 minus the old 5 divided by the old, which is 5. So if you were to do the calculation here, 6 minus 5 is 1. 1 divided by 5 is 0.2, which is 20%. So that's what we're going to be doing. New minus old divided by old. That is the percent change. Now, here's some examples of elasticity. For example, a coffee shop experiences a decrease in the price of milk, so they can lower the price of the lattes. So what should happen? Well, the prices went down, so the quantity demanded should be higher. Okay? So that's what we should see. Now, are we going to see a big change or a small change? With things like coffee, we might see a small change. We might see like, oh, you already buy coffee, you might buy another one, right? But very small changes here. What about a cruise ship that raises their ticket prices by 10%? What should happen? Well, higher prices, then we're going to see a lower quantity demanded. Now, this one, because it's a cruise ship, it's more expensive. We might see a dramatic decrease in the amount of people that are going to be getting a cruise ship ticket. So we have a bigger change, and we're going to call this elastic. Now, elastic is showing you that we're really, really sensitive to price changes. So bigger change. Something that we don't really see much change is going to be inelastic. And I'll show you what that means in a second. Here's another example of elasticity. Governments will put a sin tax on certain items, like cigarettes. And so what they're trying to do is raise prices to lower quantity, right? And they're really trying to do this for two reasons. Raise tax revenue, so they want more money for the government, and also discourage consumption. Now, is something like cigarettes, that is a bigger change or a smaller change whenever we raise prices? So we could see a smaller change in quantity because people that are addicted to cigarettes and things like that, they're going to somewhat still buy them. We might see a smaller decrease, but because it's smaller, it might be something we would say is inelastic. which goes into our discussion about the different types of elasticity. We have elastic, unitary elastic, and inelastic. So using the percent change formula, which is the percent change in quantity, divided by the percent change in price, we're going to do some calculations, and we're going to get a number. And if that number is bigger than 1, we're going to say that it is elastic. Bigger than 1, bigger change. All right. Now, I'm using bigger change this way because what happens here is because we have a change in price, we have a big change in quantity. Something that would be inelastic would look like this, where we have the change in price, but the quantity changes very little. It's inelastic. Like a rubber band that really cannot stretch very far, it is inelastic. So we're looking at something that is less than 1 if it's inelastic. Very small change, small responsiveness. For this number, we're looking for something that is 0 point something. Okay, so if we get a calculation and it's 0.9, that's going to be inelastic. All right, it is 0 point something. And if it's unit elastic, what that means is it's a proportional change. So it's going to be equal to 1. What we're going to show on that one is if you increase prices by 5%, the quantity changes by 5%. You have an equal proportional change. That is something that is unit elastic. Now, when we actually do the calculation, it is very important for you to do the quantity always goes on top. Always. All right, if we're looking at this formula here, percent change in quantity divided by percent change in price, it is always that. So whenever you do elasticity, right, what you need to do is you need to look at the percent change in quantity divided by the percent change in price. And remember, that is new minus old divided by old. All right, in the next video, we'll actually do the calculation. All right, I'll see you there.